And I see a lot of this in where I'm teaching, where the horse has not had the opportunity to make the step to quietness and relaxation in reference to the bit. And if they haven't come to that place in and of their own accord, and with our support if needed, I mean, I'm not saying we should just leave them be, then it's going to be difficult for her to hear me when she has so much to say. So I want to say, hey, can we just relax a little bit, relax a little bit, relax a little bit, take it down a notch. I'm following her quite a bit, keeping the mouthpiece of the bit fairly stable so she can't move it quite as much. Yep. So this already is a lot for her nervous system to put together and basically to tolerate. I think it is important to show horses how to increase their level of tolerance for novel things, new things. Walking them down that path repeatedly so that they know, and well, they learn that new things don't have to automatically activate the nervous system beyond relaxation. So she's not terribly upset. I think this is just a hard place for her to be quiet. So I will definitely take the time to work on this and not just go past this and start writing, because I will be putting myself in a bad position to access relaxation in her nervous system. And yes, I'm seeing her feet go. I'm kind of used to this. It's a kind of a horses that can trot this high definitely have a range of motion in their front legs. What I'm probably going to do once I get a little bit more of a settled place, and she's showing me a lot. This is a really good example, even though if I didn't think it was a great day at first. Because this is not a horse that has had a bad experience. This is just her expression being introduced to having a bit in her mouth. And that in itself is really fascinating. Now, what I'm going to do is take her out and do some more active things to see if we can bring her nervous system down. Sometimes more movement, like right there, her mouth is much more quiet. Sometimes introducing movement will bring their focus away from the novelty of the bit. And that's why a lot of times I go ahead and leave the bit on, or leave the halter on under the bridle, so that I can change activities pretty quickly. And one of the reasons that, for me personally, that I don't love the lunging cavathon is I don't want the bulk and I don't want it over the top of the bit. And to keep it from turning, usually you have to tighten it more than I would like with introducing a bit. That's not to say that, people shouldn't do it or whatever. It's really up to each individual person what they want to do. But I'm just explaining my preference for just a rope halter, because that's what we've been working with. It's something most people have. There we go. Now her mouth is getting a little more active again. I'm just keeping track of, is there anything that seems to be calming? Anything that seems to be activating? And work on the part of it is observation, what helps her. and part of it as far as what activities seem to help, and then trying to steer her towards those activities. Hoppa, let's canter. Yeah. Hoppa, let's canter. 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 Good. It's also going to tell me that she may be a horse, walk, 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 that is going to have a more active mouth. It wouldn't surprise me because her sire did, and her sire's full sister did. And so it was a management issue to help them continue in relaxation in their mouth. So I'm not surprised. And every horse is going to have their idiosyncrasies, and we want to work with them and help them through, not treat them like their idiosyncrasies are a bad thing. And idiosyncrasies is not code for poor behavior, kicking, biting, bucking. It's just personality differences. Some horse breeds were selectively bred to be more flamboyant and more emotional. There's definitely pluses to that, and there's also challenges with it. So as we work with our horses, I think it's very important to look towards their, I want to canter this way, sorry. Look towards their innate personality, knowing that it might be covered by the layers of trauma, layers of confusion, layers of fear. And so that makes horses and any, being complex organisms. Canter, let's canter. Hoppa. Good. She's getting better, not shaking her head in play quite so much. So I think if she slows down, I'll bring her back in. There we go. There we go. Oh, you want to go the other way? No, what would you like to do? How about we back up just a little bit? Back up. Good. There. Good. Yeah, and it's not a bad choice to do something like that. They have a quiet mouth and take off the bridle. There would be nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with going ahead and working with the bit itself a little bit more. It's up to your instincts and up to how the horse is receiving your input. I'm on the bubble as to what I'm going to do. I think I'll watch her for just a minute more. I like the quietness when she's moving, so I might simply reward her for that and take the bridle off and work again tomorrow. Because this is the place, this is the emotional place I would like her to be. She's able to walk, so she's not, her nervous system isn't, on fire, and her mouth is very quiet. So I might just call it a day and say, oh, good girl, hoopa, yeah, and just nice and easy, nice and quiet, take this off, so that she ends on a really good note. So this doesn't become, something negative, something worrisome, or something that overactivates a busy mind. It can be so many things. For her in particular, I think it's very activating for her to have something in her mouth a bit. A lot of people, how I grew up, would just leave the bit on and have them just wear it. I've done that with her aunt, And it didn't really change anything because I don't think it was addressing the issue of how can I help her with her nervous system to bring it down, have her be relaxed, receive this. Instead, I think what it did was, oh my gosh, this bit is never, ever, ever going away. And so I think it can help to allow them to wear the bit in a safe environment, but I don't think that is the best option or the only option. I think it's an option. I want to guide them a little bit more in where I want them to go with the bit, how I want them to feel about the bit and experience the bit, instead of just leaving them to their own devices. So that's a day of introducing a bit to Lida, and hopefully that gives you some things to think about with every step of how we introduce each piece of having them learn how to do their job. So I will see you next time.